started here. We're getting ready, getting everything up and running for the Path to Presence retreat. I've been offering this retreat for over 3 years now, sometimes in the beginning, several times a year, 4 times a year. And I've been offering this. Okay, there we go. Sorry. And the technology is always the trickiest part. So I just got to make sure everything's good. So I have folks joining in Zoom. Cameras are totally optional. It's up to you. I have mine on so you can see me. And it's nice to see people. And then those of you who are tuning in occasionally through Facebook Live, you can say hi as well if you'd like. And let me change the view so it's just me though. There we go. All right, sorry for the couple of moments while I settle in and make sure everything's working, but it looks like it is. Okay, so welcome to the Path to Presence retreat. Some of you have even joined in with me before, so nice to see you here again, or maybe you've worked with me in other ways. I really love offering this retreat, and I love offering it for free. It's been such a great thing over the last few years. Yeah, thanks. And I like doing it through Zoom. Sometimes I want to do it through Zoom because I do like a little more interaction. But Facebook has been a great community. Oh, good. And I was going to say, please say hello if you are joining on Facebook. And I see Patricia is saying hello, even if you're watching a replay. One of the reasons I love doing it into the Facebook is because then the replay is right there. It'll go right into guide 4. Should you miss a day or have to leave early or arrive late or something like that. So this retreat is about building and developing and deepening a meditation practice that sticks, something that's consistent that you can continue to show up for. Because that's often the real issue, the number one issue that most people identify as a struggle in meditation is that consistency. So I'm going to be providing some practical tips, and we're also going to be doing a little meditation every day this week. So there'll be 5 days and then a couple of bonus days too. In these 5 days, we'll be looking at 5 questions. I like to take this slightly more open-ended approach of offering kind of a line of inquiry, a way for you to engage with the form and function of your practice, and to help you to tailor it to suit you so that you can keep showing up. And, it's the kind of thing where you might not build a practice that lasts a lifetime just in 5 days. It might be something that you return to later as a way, kind of a strategy to check in what is suiting you now in this moment. Because, life is shifting and changing all the time in so many ways, right? Internally, externally, so many different ways. So we want to create a meditation practice that can also grow with you. And just getting you some of those tools to equip you to do that a little bit, and ways to think about it. So the flow of each session, so this is my little tiny bit of admin today, is we'll start with like a little brief overview of what we're doing. I have a little bit of homework questions for people, so I often review what you guys have said in any homework or any comments. And then I'll present the topic of the day, provide some tips, some insights, and then we'll practice sitting together, because I can't really call it a meditation retreat if we don't sit and do a little meditation. So that kind of comes towards the end. This is also to get you in the habit of sitting daily and having this community to be accountable to. So each session, I try to keep it to 45 minutes tops. I used to try to do half an hour, and it was just too much. I just have too much to say. Consequently, I also kind of say a bunch, look at my notes, look at a few things, and then I pause to check on the chat or if you have any questions or anything like that. And if you do have lots of questions, I will do a live Q&A where you can come and ask any questions. It's a bonus day that I do on the Saturday. We have a few giveaways, day 3, 4, and 5. So towards the end, if you're more motivation, more incentive and accountability, if you show up on day 3, my giveaway is this lovely journal, a slightly different one this year rather. Path to Presence, and that can help you to write down any insights about meditation, to log when you're sitting in your practice, and to help you integrate it into your daily life. Day 4, the giveaway I have is for a full scholarship to my 6-week program, Calm Mind, Clear Heart, which takes the retreat and really gets deeper and it's a mix of live calls and an online, a virtual component too, and a one-on-one session. I don't have much of a prop to show for this, but I do have a workbook that I printed out before. So it does, a lot of these things have a workbook and stuff too. Day 5, the giveaway for that is a bundle of 2 meditation programs by Circle and Bloom. And Circle and Bloom is another organization that I partner with sometimes. They specifically do a lot of women's health, fertility, pregnancy, but also sort of cancer, stress, things like that, a lot of health-oriented programs. So they very generously offer a bundle of 2 programs. If you are someone who came to me through Circle and Bloom or are in a journey of fertility and trying to conceive or pregnant, feel free to reach out and let me know. I make a random drawing of people, but I create a pool first. You know, we usually have like 150 people sign up for the retreat, but not everyone actually shows up, right? So I want to give the giveaways to people who are showing up. So often I will make a little list. I'll just put you in the list once you do homework or you show up or you comment or something like that. So if you're in the fertility section, let me know and I'll put you in that list. I like to try to give the giveaways where they're most appreciated. All right, I'm gonna briefly share my screen. And I have a lot of screens to share. Maybe this is the right one, let's find out. I have a workbook for this one, for the Path to Presence Retreat, and this is what it looks like. And this is also intended to help you really work through some of those questions, those prompts to think deeper and integrate the practice and tailor it to make it your own. If you haven't been getting my emails where the workbook was sent out, check your spam, or you can comment workbook and I'll try to directly send you a copy. And this is the schedule. We go through the questions. Today is the question of why. Tomorrow we look at setting the timing and when. Day 3, we look at creating an environment and where. Day 4, we look at identity and who is walking this path. And day 5 is where we look at how. This is what most meditation classes are about, just the how to practice or techniques to practice. But I like to really work on the habit of a consistency in your practice. So that's why we've got all these other approaches here. And then I have the bonus sessions. There'll be one on Saturday, just through Zoom Q&A. And then I have one bonus session, which is why not, looking at all the obstacles and the objections. Okay, we'll stop sharing that. So yeah, and this is what the workbook looks like, by the way. I have a printable version, as folks have requested in the past, so that you don't have to use all these colors and graphics when you print it out. If you're filling it out online, you can look at all the pretty stuff. All right, so let me see. The big result of the week, of course, is to build a meditation practice that sticks and to, really leave you with a plan and a lot of options on how to get started. And we're starting today, day 1, here we are. So myself and my brief self-introduction here, at least when it comes to meditation, is I first encountered meditation when I was around 15 as a part of doing Tai Chi and Qigong. I went to an unusual school where we had that as one of our non-competitive sports. And for a while, my experience with meditation and mindfulness was always connected to yoga or Tai Chi or Qigong or things like that. And that might be the experience of some of you as well. And then about 16 years ago, I started to study shiatsu, which is like acupressure and oriental therapies. And it led into eventually me studying acupuncture. And actually in my shiatsu course, which I did in Australia, we had a component of needing to develop this inner chi, I forget what they called it, internal exercise, and to really also kind of track some of these habits, and meditation was a part of that. So I started to really experiment with developing a consistent practice. And then of course, I've also been using that's grown through the years. I've done a few silent retreats, the Vipassana or insight meditation style. And my life has changed. I had kids, I went to grad school for acupuncture, I started that practice, and I've had to adjust my own meditation practice as things have gone. And I use meditation a lot in my acupuncture and shiatsu practice with patients. And why it would be nice for them to feel relaxed or have a different connection to themselves in the treatment. The real benefits and beauty of the work was when they could show up consistently for themselves. So that kind of became one of my life's works, one of my missions here. And then I went and did some teacher training in teaching mindfulness and meditation as well. And it's just kind of continued to go from there. So, we want to be able to show up when times are good, when times are bad. That consistency is really key. And although I call this the Path to Presence retreat, I usually think of this as the retreat to pop the retreat bubble. And let's see if I can actually start this as a slideshow. I will. The button's always hidden by Zoom. Let me see if I can move it around a little. I did. Okay, let me see. Sorry about my tech. The tech part's the hard part. If the slideshow loads, I will show you. Here we go. Now you can all see that. We'll check on Facebook area. Good. I think so. All right, so here we have Path to Presence retreat. Oops. The retreat bubble is when you go on a day, a weekend, a week, a month retreat where everything is fine-tuned to make you succeed. You don't have to worry about usually food, you don't have to worry about work and making money or taking care of other people. Sometimes the schedule is all set. There's all these things you don't have to worry about. You can just focus on meditation. Or if it's like a yoga retreat, maybe it's yoga or whatever it might be, writing retreat, something like that. So that's great, but that's a lovely, deep, immersive experience. I think retreats are wonderful, but then it's the question of like, how can you translate that into your often busy, sometimes unpredictable, stressful everyday life? So we're really looking at how to show up when things are good and when things are difficult as well. Yeah, just being a little slow on getting to the next slide. It's not stuck. All right, we're gonna go into the lo-fi version of this. Sorry, bear with me for a moment. There we go. So in this retreat, we're gonna look at 3 reasons why it's hard to make a meditation practice stick. And I'll be returning to this, especially tomorrow we'll be covering the second 2, and today we'll be covering the first, which is expectations about meditation. The other ones, expectations about yourself, overcoming limiting beliefs, those actually tend to have a lot more to do with self-compassion. And if you are trying really hard and being hard on yourself, you might not be realistic with one, what your life is like and what you can fit in and what you can do. Also, it's a mixture of sort of believing that you deserve the practice and the self-care and the benefits of meditation, as well as the ability to be realistic in your expectations. So one of the reasons a meditation practice might not stick is because we have some unrealistic expectations about meditation and may not have fully grasped what the practice means to us and made it really personal. You might be taking others' advice that, you have to meditate for 30 minutes every morning, sitting on the floor with your eyes closed, just focused on the breath. Like that might be a prescription for meditation that might really not work for you. So we're going to start today by talking about some of the myths of meditation. What's fact? What's myth? Because a lot of times these will be feeding into our expectations about meditation and can be quite insidious as well. So there's a lot of different kinds of myths. I just mentioned that you might have to do it in the morning, sit cross-legged on the floor, closing your eyes. These are some of the myths about how to meditate. If you think too much, it doesn't count. If you fall asleep, you didn't do it right. These might be things that, oh, you might be like, yeah, I actually kind of bought into that one. There's a lot. There might be myths also about who can meditate. You have to feel calm. Like you have to be calm already before you can start to meditate. Or you can't have any ADD or ADHD or that noisy monkey mind, that mental chatter. Or the idea that you must be religious or Buddhist or spiritual to do it. Or the idea that you generally have to be good at sitting still and being silent. This is not the case either. We want to work with the sense of who you are and who you wish to become and tie that into your meditation practice. Also, there are a lot of myths about the results of meditation. Maybe you come to meditation with the expectation that it teaches you to feel nothing. This is going to quickly become disappointing and frustrating because we don't just stop feeling, and that's not really the goal. Also, though, the myth that it might be relaxing, it might make you happy or calm, or it might even change who you are, or that it's always going to be profound and always make you feel better. These are going to be a little more nuanced, sometimes slightly more problematic myths that might make you not continue to show up. So we want to look at also what meditation is not a little bit here today. So there's 5 meditation myths I usually like to touch on here at the start, and we'll go through them right now. The first one is that meditation is pure void and emptiness. This idea that when you sit to meditate, there should be no thoughts, there should be nothing. It should be kind of that teaching you to feel nothing aspect. That is definitely going to be frustrating because our mind is full of thoughts, and the monkey mind, as I often call it, is a natural part of being human. So we want to work with our thoughts rather than trying to put up intense walls to keep them out necessarily or silence the monkey mind. Another wonderful sounding myth is that meditation is pure bliss and enlightenment. Yes, sometimes we have little moments of this, but if you're expecting this every time, you're quickly going to feel like I'm not doing this right, or this is not what I thought it was going to be. This one is also sort of insidious here. Meditation makes you lazy and selfish is another great myth I like to mention, because especially for those who have a lot of caregiving tendencies or pressures in their life, it might feel sort of self-indulgent or like you're just focusing on you. You're not really doing anything. However, a lot of studies have shown that a regular meditation practice and taking that time for self-care can make you more productive, can make you a better caregiver, can help you in basically all the other things, more focused, more clarity, less reactive, all the other things that you might want to be doing with your time in life. And this one, of course, I'll be talking about a lot. There's only one right way to meditate. This is really a process of inquiry and curiosity. I want to invite your beginner's mind to come on the journey through the retreat with us to find a way that resonates with you. We won't be talking about different techniques until the end, but each day we're sitting in the retreat, we will do a couple of different techniques. So already start noticing what's resonating with you, what's working with you, letting this be a process of tailoring it for yourself. The idea that meditation is easy. Close your eyes, sit down, be quiet. You got it. In a way, meditation is simple, but I would say it's not necessarily easy. And having the expectation that it's easy is also going to make it hard to show up. So these are some of the myths that make it really difficult to continue to show up because they set us up for some very unrealistic expectations. So why might we want to show up? Here's a little list of some of the benefits of meditation, but there are, of course, many, many more. There's physiological health benefits. Some of the research on meditation shows that it relaxes the nervous system, quiets that sympathetic fight or flight nervous system, activating the parasympathetic. decreasing blood pressure, lowering heart rate, strengthening the immune system. It preserves the aging brain and improves memory, regulates hormones like cortisol, the stress hormone, also blood sugar levels, and reduces chronic pain. That's the stuff that's not on this list as much, some of those physiological things, as well as the things that are on here: improving focus, memory, relationships, health, reducing stress, anxiety, reactivity, cultivating compassion, equanimity, perspective, resiliency. So the big question for today really is about why. Let me finish my slideshow. We need to tailor the practice to really make it stick, really make it relevant and meaningful, both in a sense of like the deeper meaning of why you're here, but then also the logistics of your life and the circumstances, the practical aspects too. So these are the questions that we can return to later. Today, we're going to focus on why. Why are you here? What draws you to meditation? Go ahead. I'm going to talk for a minute and take a break, but feel free to write your instinctive response to this question. What benefits are you seeking? So I want to take a look at your motivation as we begin to walk this path and think about, where it is that you're wanting to go. Why are you here? What brought you to this path? And where is it that you want to be taking it? Why do you want to have a consistent meditation practice? So feel free to write that in, and I'll circle back in a moment and look at some of these. Some of the other questions, just briefly, that we'll go through on the other days: when, looking at the timing for that consistency; where, this is really helpful to make, to help enforce the habit, is to create a environment for your practice; who, the role of identity in also maintaining habits, also the use of community and other resources; and how, looking at techniques and also some of the practical aspects in starting simple and slowly building your practice. I think this is the last slide on my show, which is a little nod to the bonus days. And I'll be posting about this in a lot of different places, in the emails, in the group, in the workbook you'll find. Except that I need to change. This is the old slide. Oops, let me put the new slide in here. That was like 22nd. That's yesterday. It'll be on Saturday at 9:30 and the following Monday at 8:30. So I'll push that again for you. All right, so let me take a pause here and just sort of check in. So I'm looking in the Facebook for a moment, where Patricia, who's joining in, says, I feel so much better when I have a consistent meditation practice. Yeah, so sometimes that's actually a different way to go about it, is you do show up and you're paying attention and you're pausing to notice what it feels like. This is another part I want to add to the retreat. And I haven't figured out the best way to say it yet, but the idea on the myths of like what were the results are of meditation. Sometimes it might be as simple as really noticing that it feels better when you show up consistently. And in time, the benefits of the practice, they kind of double back and they help us to show up. All right, so looking over in Zoom land and seeing a couple of things. So Vanessa's mentioning less reactivity is a reason for her to show up, finding more moments to ponder by day rather than just keep moving through it quickly. Yes, this moment of awareness and mindfulness, because so often we are operating on autopilot, moving through quickly. We're like, wait, did I just eat my meal? Is that still to happen? Really important things like that. Yeah, that's great. And Elaine is saying health, my mind. I want to have a focused routine that I can develop for myself, especially when I'm going through difficult times, changing my habits for better ones. Love this answer too. It is so great and helpful to see this practice as a habit and this opportunity to really support yourself. And we're going to be doing a lot of work with some self-compassion, so that'll be nice. He says, I'm looking to be more present for both myself and my family. Yes, when you are more present for yourself, it naturally spills over I like to say we need to fill the teapot before we pour the cups of tea for everyone. Elaine says, wanting to develop a positive environment around me every day, looking to set my day right. That's also a lovely thing too. There's so many, when you start to look, they're like, oh, and this benefit, right? And Sandy says, once you are developed a consistent practice, you'll really understand the benefits if you stop for a day or two. Great point, Sandy. Much more agitation, less certainty, much less calm and presence. Yes. Yeah. So when you get into that consistency and then you fall out of it, because that happens too. We like to say, if you miss one day, that's an accident. If you miss 2 days, that's a new habit. It's totally okay to miss a day here and there. I think that's a quote from someone, possibly James Clear, who wrote Atomic Habits, which is one of the big books that I reference in here. That book. And then I also like to reference this book a lot too. Mindful Self-Discipline by Giovanni. Still don't know how to pronounce his last name. Dientzman. I suppose I should ask him. Oh, good. Last time Sandy did the retreat and purchased both of those books. Great resources. They really are. Awesome. And then someone else is chiming in here to spend quiet time with the God or creative source and to feel calmness. Yeah, so this just shows you with this little spattering of different reasons to show up how unique it is for each of us and how different we all are. In fact, I like to ask a couple of questions when people first join the Facebook group. Now I really have so many tabs open. Okay, here we go. And those questions I ask are, what would you like to learn more about when it comes to mindfulness and meditation? And what are you struggling with when developing a consistent meditation practice? And some of those really great answers I kind of take into a little, really, it's just a draft email in my email where I keep my notes. And there's so much diversity. We all have our unique life story. So of course, naturally, if we want the meditation practice to stick, we have to really kind of pay attention to what resonates with us, what works for us, and really take that approach of tailoring it. And Sandy says, it's taken me many years to get my practice to be consistent. And it's true. It's taken me many years too. And the fact that life gets in the way doesn't change, right? So it is an ongoing work. All right, I'm coming back to my notes here. So we want to think about, it's important to ask yourself why you're here, so you can discover your aspirations, which is the spark and fuel for this journey. So Giovanni says in his book, Mindful Self-Discipline, your aspiration is the reason you are starting the journey in the first place. Without it, self-discipline becomes difficult at best, if not outright meaningless. So he also defines self-discipline as the continuous application of self-awareness and willpower over time for the purpose of living in accordance with your higher values and choosing behaviors that are in harmony with your long-term goals. So we're thinking today a little bit about those long-term goals and who we want to be, which we focus more when we look at who and the role of identity. A quote Dientzman lists in here that's actually from Nietzsche says, "He who has a why can bear almost any how." I like this one, of course, because day 1, we start with a why, and day 5, we end with how. So that's got this kind of scope of journey. And if you're struggling, if you're listening to this even as a replay and you're struggling to find your why, you can also try this approach called the 5-fold why. This is actually an exercise from Josh Kaufman to discover the root cause of your original goals. We want to look deeper. We want that why to reflect your core values, those longer term things. So it might be, why do I want to meditate? This is, again, a series of questions. I quite like using questions as prompts here. Why do I want to meditate? Because I want to be less stressed and reactive. Why do I want to be less stressed and reactive? So you get to kind of do a little question and answer and keep peeling the layers of the onion here. Because I want to be able to respond and have freedom to make choices. Why do I want to respond? better and have more freedom to make choices. Because I want to be present and enjoy my life and provide support to the people and things I love. So it can also work in reverse. So if you feel like you have a little window into it, you can look a little deeper and ask yourself why it is that you feel like that is a benefit you're seeking or one of those goals. And once you've found your why, you want to prioritize your aspirations by dedicating your resources, like time, adding it to your schedule, which will be part of what we covered in when tomorrow, dedicating resources like energy, creating an environment that supports your attention, which we cover in day 3, which is where, money, resources, getting the tools and mentors you might need. And we want to really kind of continue to show up with this sort of guiding light. And you can always return to your why as it might shift. Let me pause here to see if there are any questions, because now we're going to do a little practice. And gosh, I just have too many tabs open. Sorry about that. Okay. That's where it went. No, we're looking good. Okay, so now we're going to sit and do a practice together. Just a short practice. And this is kind of attending some of the basics of meditation and mindfulness. If you're on Zoom and you want to turn your camera off, that is fine. Go right ahead. We're going to do a simple awareness practice. We're going to be working with the breath, the sensations in the body, and what I call touch points. And so I'm going to take a last sip of tea. A little tepid now, my tea. And invite you to just go ahead and settle into a comfortable posture. Remembering there's no one right way to meditate. So if you need to lie down, if you need a couple extra pillows, blocks, blankets, make it work for you. Set yourself up to succeed. Take a moment too to slow down your arrival into this practice. And just take a moment. Maybe you're sitting, sit and know you're sitting. Have this overall sense of your body right here, right now. Or if you're lying down and know that you're lying down. Maybe you're standing, wherever you are. And maybe you might close your eyes if that's comfortable, or you can let your eyes remain open with a soft gaze. Just starting to tune in, turn inwards. And let your attention land where your body is in contact with the ground. It might be the soles of your feet or your lower legs. Maybe it's contact beneath your pelvis, your sit bones as they sit, your seat. These we like to call the touch points. And just really starting to notice, what is that point of contact between your body and not body, the seat, the chair, the floor, the ground? What does that feel like? Take some time to get to know any sensations that might be alive in these touch points. Maybe there's a sense of pressure, of warmth or coolness. Just letting your attention slow down, get a little more up close to these touch points to notice what's going on in these spots. Sometimes they're actually quite small, that point of contact. As we start this journey, we want to start where we're at. Before we take the first step, we stand and we connect to the ground. This is our here and now, our truth, our circumstances, our situation, our connection. And just notice buzzing, tingling, maybe a sense of aliveness in the body. The mind will wander. It may have already wandered 20 times in this 2 minutes. That's okay. When you wake up to the wandering mind, just as you might lead a puppy or train a small child or animal with kindness, with compassion, gently bringing the mind back, noticing again contact with the ground, tuning in to that sense of connection, to that sense of arrival into the present moment, and just notice. Be curious, that beginner's mind, what sensations are here? What's the quality of presence in these touch points? And maybe to deepen a sense of connection and presence, we might have to let go of a little tension first. So scanning the body for any tension in the eyes, the jaw, inviting your mouth to become unhinged. Maybe you soften the mouth, the jaw, all the way down to the root of your tongue. Letting the shoulders drop away from the ears, softening the belly, the hips, anywhere else that needs to be invited to soften. It's all an invitation. And returning to that sense of contact with the ground. Feel how the ground offers you support, allowing you to soften into it, allowing you to arrive, to be here. And letting your awareness open up just a little more to notice sensations in the whole body. Any buzzing, tingling, warmth, coolness, pressure, softening, turning, twisting. Whatever it is, just noticing it, recognizing, maybe making a note to yourself as you become aware of different sensations. Connecting into the body. The body is a field of sensations, like different parts of it lighting up, coming to the foreground of our awareness. Maybe you notice that as you become aware of pressure in the pelvis or opening in the rib cage, even as you take the time to note it, it may have moved on. Now you might be on to another sensation. So allow the sensations and that sense of aliveness to flow. And as we're connecting to the body, this might include an awareness of the flow of breath. Just start to notice the phases of breath, the inhale and the exhale. And if you have any trouble connecting to the breath, you can always take a hand and place it on your belly or your heart, just for that extra tactile feedback, to feel the body moving, pushing up into your hand, to feel the rise and fall of the chest or the belly, maybe the expansion of the rib cage. Maybe it's the air flowing in and out of your nostrils. When the mind wanders, coming back to the next inhale, the next exhale. And letting your attention slow even further. Noticing the beginning, middle, and end of each inhale and each exhale. Noticing perhaps the quality of the breath, how it feels to be here now. And you could leave your hand here on your body if it feels good, or you can let it return to your lap or wherever it was resting before. And let's lean into that word rest. Can you rest into the practice a little more? Rest into simply being right here, right now, in this field of sensations, this connection to the ground, to the body, to the breath, softening into the flow, letting yourself simply be for a moment. And as the practice draws to a close, take a pause and just notice how you feel. As we come out of the practice, also slowly, mindfully, these transition moments are the moments we tend to go to autopilot most easily. Maybe you need some movement, maybe you open your eyes, whatever helps you to come out of it. Can you keep that connection, that presence? Notice how you feel. Maybe there's already a benefit from sitting here together for 10 minutes. Yeah, I see some thumbs up. All right, so this is like, again, attending to what I think of as the foundations, and it can be helpful to use these sort of concentration techniques to really gather our awareness, to arrive, right? Like I said, we gotta arrive right here, right now. We gotta start where we're at. It's helpful for the whole journey, but I also like to start the meditation like that too. So today we're really exploring that why, and there is some homework. I will post a little thread of homework in the Facebook group. The day one homework is that question. Why do you want to build a meditation practice? What benefits are you seeking? You can feel free to post it in the Facebook group, email me the answer. I read a few out already in here, but it's, again, really helpful, I think, when we do this as a community to see that diversity of reasons. To have like it just kind of widens our perspective and makes it a little fuller of an experience. And doing homework is helpful for building community, accountability, motivation. Also, if you do homework, you'll go in that list for my giveaways. So we want to engage just a little deeper, just take that time to really kind of integrate the practice by taking the time to pause and tailor it to you. So tomorrow we'll be looking at when, and thank you so much for showing up today. Every morning we'll be meeting at this time, and the replays in the Facebook group. If you're using the Facebook group, there's these things called guides. If you can't find them, let me know. Guide 4, I think, has all the replays. Guide 5 has all the homework ones. So yeah, I hope that you'll continue to show up this week, and then that leads into you showing up in your life and in your own meditation practice. So yeah, happy practicing today and considering all of that. And I have to find where to turn off the stream. There it is. I will look forward to seeing you all tomorrow.